Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Raha, Kwadash, Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder, Aharawan Banyasharala of the Lions Den Camp, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. And also, salutations to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Banyasharala, coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharala, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. And today, Salakia, I'll be coming out a lesson. And the title of this lesson is, We Are Rich. And we very much are rich. It's just now, because of the state and the situation that we are in, these other nations and all this stuff, they look down upon us. But that's part of the curses of Deuteronomy 28. That these other nations will be looking down upon us. They will hiss at us. We will be in the worst places, pushed in the worst corners of we'll say, countries and or society. We'll go by bywords and and proverbs and stuff like that. But nonetheless, the truth of the matter is we really are rich. We just fell from our righteous estate. Because Israel at one point in time as a whole went contrary or adverse to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, which lands us in the position that we are in right now. But nonetheless, thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, we are rich. The Lord said this. We are rich. We might not be physically rich. And the jakes that are physically rich, you already know what they did to get their riches. They worshiping their father, the devil. That's how they got their riches. But nonetheless, for those of us who are walking according to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, to the best of our ability, the Lord knows what we deal with, but we are rich. This is Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. This is, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. So the Lord knows our works towards him. He knows that we're doing the best that we can according to his laws, statutes, commandments. He knows our works. He says, and tribulation. So he knows our hardships too. He knows the things that we've been subjected to. He knows the things that has happened to our people. He knows these things. He knows we live in very impoverished conditions. He knows these things. But he says, but thou art rich. But we are rich. We are a very rich people. And the riches is really, the spirit is spiritual. The physical riches are going to come once the Lord set up the kingdom here on earth. But right now, the Lord says we are rich, and that's the truth. Wisdom is riches. It's better than any gold and a ruby or whatever thing that could be desired in the earth that you could think of. Wisdom is more valuable than that. And we have the words of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, so this makes us rich. So once again, verse 9 of Revelation chapter 2. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. So the Lord knows our state, and we really are rich. Let's continue. And it says, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. So the Lord knows those of our people. He knows their blasphemy. And see this other part of this verse, it also applies to 2/3 of our people, that want to use the word of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua to get money. They want to use the names to get over and what it is, usury on a brother, using brothers and all of this stuff like that to get over. So that's why the Lord says, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. This applies to 2/3 of our people. And this also applies to Edom. So, but the first part of this verse is what I wanted to focus on. I just read the whole verse to complete the thought. The Lord knows our works and tribulations and poverty, but we are rich. The Lord knows that, and we are rich. We have exponential riches. It's just we have to store that up in heaven. You know, spiritual riches. Don't lay up treasures upon earth where somebody, which I get, I'm roughly paraphrasing, where somebody can come through and steal. Lay up your treasures in heaven where can't nobody come through and steal. That's where our riches are at. So yes, we are rich. But let's continue. This is Luke chapter 12. And I'm going to start at verse 15. It says, "And he said unto them, Take heed and be aware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth." So this was Yahushua speaking to his disciples, and he was saying, be aware of covetousness. We know what covetousness is. We know what it is to covet things, to want something that may not necessarily belong to you, or just want something that you don't have, you know. But it says, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possessed. So our lives don't consist of how much possessions we have. That's not what makes us tick, or how you would say, that's not what makes the world go around. But let's continue. Verse 16, "And he spake a parable unto them, saying, The ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, What shall I do, because I have no room where to bestow my fruit?" So it was a rich man. He had fertile ground, and he probably had a plenteous harvest, or plenteous harvests, you know, and so much so to the point to where he was running out of room, or ran out of room. Verse 18, "And he said, This will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater. And there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods." So the rich man was like, you know what? I'm going to tear these barns down and make them bigger, so I can have more room to store my goods, or his riches, or whatever it is he had, you know. But continue, verse 19. It says, "And I will say to my soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry." So this is what he said he was going to say to himself. He did all this working, he did all this toiling and everything, and he said he's going to say to himself, he has laid up many goods. And Jake, do that too real quick. Sirach chapter 5 verse 1. It says, "Set not thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough for my life." We are not to presume of our wealth. We are not to set our hearts upon the goods that we have, the possessions that we have. We are not to say, though, oh, I'm straight, because, you know, Jake will do that. Jake will amass, we'll say, a lot of possessions and or money, and he'll be like, you know what, I'm good. Now I'm finna sit back and chill. You know, the Lord says don't do that, because you don't know what could happen. You could lose it all. Yourself something could happen, and guess what? Now you're back in the spirit realm, and all those riches, or what those physical possessions or physical riches, guess what? Who will they belong to? Who they gonna go to? More than likely, it could all be lost. So that's what it means by it says, don't set your heart upon goods, you know, and don't say that you have enough for your life. Sirach chapter 5 verse 1. So again, verse 19, back at Luke chapter 12, it says, "And I will say to my soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry." Verse 20, "But Yahweh said unto him, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee." See? "Then who shall those things be which thou hast provided?" So again, This man, he was rich, and he set his heart upon his goods, and felt like he had enough for his life, and the Lord called him a fool. But this is a parable that Yahushua is speaking. So he was like, you a fool for trusting in this night. But it says, this night your soul shall be required of thee, meaning you gonna die. The rich man, parable, but he was like, nah, you gonna die, showing you that like things can happen. And it says, and then and further in the verse it says, then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? So like it was being asked, who gonna get these riches that this man has amassed? Who's going to get these things? So it's a difference. It's a contrast between storing up riches in heaven and storing up riches on the earth. But we are rich. We just got to store them up in heaven. But nonetheless, anything can happen. This is what Yahushua is saying. Anything can happen. It says, but again, verse 20, it says, but Yahweh said unto him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then who shall those things be which thou hast provided? So who is going to belong to after you're gone? And see, Jake don't think about this stuff like that. Jake think about physical riches. Oh, I'm rich. Well, we don't know, man. We are rich. It's spiritual. The physical part of it is coming in the kingdom, but right now, it's spiritual riches. And that's a heck of a whole lot more important than physical riches. Even though it wouldn't hurt to have some physical riches, that could happen. That's something that the Lord can do. That's easy. The Lord can make a man rich. That's like that ain't nothing to the Most High. He can do that easy. But the point of it is, don't set your heart on it, so that it won't get taken away from you. Salakia, I kind of lost my train of thought for a second, so I'm going to go on and continue. Verse 21. It says, so is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich towards Yahweh. So when you laying up treasures on the earth for yourself, guess what? It ain't. Most people that lay up treasures on earth, here on the earth, they're not rich towards Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Especially when it comes down to Jake, they're not rich towards Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. They cut out to the Lord, they broke as a joke. So it's better to store your riches in heaven. But those that are in the know are the ones that understand and know that we are rich. We really are rich. But let's continue. It says, and he said unto verse 22, and he said unto his disciples, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, neither for the body, what ye shall put on. So the Lord is telling don't take no thought for your life. I mean, don't worry about it. You think about it, but don't be worried about it. Don't be caught up. Don't have that on the forefronts of your mind. Don't have that on your mind all the time. Oh man, what I'm gonna wear, what I'm gonna eat, how I'm gonna do this. The Lord tells you don't worry about those things, because he is the one that's providing for us. Verse 23. It says, the life is more than the meat, and the body more than raiment. So the life, it ain't everything to life to just consume and eat. You got a body, but it ain't all about, oh yeah, trying to worry about what you're gonna wear. You know what I'm saying? The Lord will even tell you what to wear, man. He would he'll even tell you that. Yeah, put this on, put that on. The Lord, he's guiding us, man. He's guiding us. Verse 23. No, 24, Salakia. It says, consider the ravens, they neither sow nor reap, which neither have storehouses nor barn, and Yahweh feedeth them. How much more are ye better than the fowl? So the ravens, they don't sow, they don't reap, they don't till the land, they don't build structures, they don't work, basically. Yet they don't have storehouses to have a surplus of whatever it is. They don't have any of that stuff. Yet the Lord provided for them. He feedeth them. how much more important are you, compared to the fowl? Meaning the Lord gonna provide for you, provide for us just like the fowl. He provide for the fowl. Look at Elijah. The Lord used what? What did he use to provide? We'll say meat for Elijah. Meat, i.e. food for Elijah. What happened? He used ravens. So the Lord provides for us. Let's continue. Verse 25. It says, no, hold on, let me see. Verse 25, I'm going to read verse 25. It says, and which of you, with taking thought, can add to his stature 1 cubit? So like that's what he's basically asking the question. Like, which one of y'all can add any inches to your height? Verse 26. It says, if ye then be not able to do that thing which is least, why take ye thought for the rest? So if you can't really add, he's basically saying if you can't really add no height unto yourself or do something least of that matter, why worry about anything else? Verse 28. It says, if then, I'll jump down to verse 28. It says, if then Yahweh so clothe the grass, which is today in the field, and tomorrow cast it into the oven, how much more will he clothe ye, O ye of little faith? So it was saying, if the Lord can clothe the grass, which is in the dead of the field, make the grass grow in the field, and tomorrow cast it into the oven, i.e. burn it up, it says, how much more will the Lord clothe us? How much more will the Lord provide for us? How much more will the Lord protect us? And it says, oh, ye of little faith, Because sometimes, you get a little weary. I ain't going to say weak, but a little weary. Sometimes you be like, oh, Yahweh, but I don't know what's going on, Lord. I need some help. You know what I'm saying? It just something like that. But the Lord be like, hey, just be cool. That's something that we all have to learn. We are at various levels of that. We are not all on the same level. It takes time to reach certain levels, and certain Akim around the four corners of the earth have reached that level of like, yeah, man, the Lord, he got me. I mean, the situation might not necessarily be comfortable, but every time I read the scriptures, the Lord is always coming through for Jake. Talking about Lord be the come through kid. He there. But nonetheless, let's continue. Verse 29. It says, and seek not ye what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, neither be ye of a doubtful mind. So don't doubt Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And he said we are rich. So guess what that means? You can't doubt that because we are rich. Tells us don't worry about things about like eating and drinking, what we're going to eat and drink. If it's a little hard time, we can shoot up a prayer. Shema, Yahweh Shem Shai, Barak, what I'm saying, Thawada, however you going to pray to Yahweh Shem Shai. And don't doubt it. Let's continue. Verse 30. It says, for all these things do the nations of the world seek after. See, the nations of the world, they're seeking after riches and all of this stuff. They don't understand. And your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. So the other nations, they worry about physical possessions and having an abundance of things. But our Father Yahweh, he knoweth that we have need of these things. He know what we need even before we ask. He know what we need. Well, let's continue. It says, but rather seek the kingdom of Yahweh, and all these things shall be added unto you. So when you seek the kingdom of Yahweh by Shem Shai, these possessions or whatever it is will be added unto you. The Lord will add exactly what you need unto you. Let's continue. Verse 32. It says, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." So the Lord tells us, don't fear. It is the Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. We are rich. It just right now we have to learn. This is a learning process. We have to go through what we're going through in order to learn not to do it again and to see what it is like to be contrary on the outside of things, or be see how or I say this. We're like the Lord put us through this so that we can see how life goes not listening to Him. I say that. But yeah, nonetheless, we are rich. Yahweh Shemel said we are rich, but we just can't be caught up on physical riches on this earth. But, but let's continue. What this is. Matthew chapter 6, verse 19, my last point. It says, "Lay not up treasures." So like you read that again. Matthew chapter 6, verse 19. "Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal." So the Lord tells us don't even do that, because if you laying up treasures down here upon earth, moth and rust can corrupt it. Thieves can break through and steal what you have. Verse 20, it says, "But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal." So there you go. The Lord tells us to lay up treasures in heaven, because ain't no moth, no rust can corrupt those riches. Can't nothing get to those riches. A thief can't break up into the Shemayims in the spirit world and take what you got. They cannot do it. So that's why the Lord says, store up your riches in heaven, which makes us rich. Which is the title of this lesson. We are rich. We are rich in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. We are rich in wisdom. We are rich in faith. We are rich in the spirit. These things that the Lord is showing that are a lot more valuable than the things that could be desired on the earth. Wisdom being being one of those things. That's above rubies and everything in the earth. So yeah, we are rich, but we got to store what? We got to store up those treasures in heaven. That's how you become rich. A lot of our people, they are not rich towards Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. How do you know? Because they're physically rich here. They put their hearts in those things which they have gained on this side. But when it comes down to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, they're broke as a joke. But those who have been living and walking according to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, we are rich. We are rich. And Jacob in totality. I say that. We'll say Israel is in totality. The so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, and the speckled bird, meaning Israelites that are scattered among these other nations, that look like these other nations, talk like these other nations, walk like these other nations, but they bear the spirit, and their bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But nonetheless, we are rich. And with that, shalom.